Okay, the camera crew is going to introduce this one. It's another show about fishing. Over to Richard.
Hello, this is part 2 of the Head Mix review show about markets, and we're lucky to have Brigida Marovelli here to talk to us about the Italian fishing markets. Now, you've actually lived with the fishermen to a certain extent, haven't you? How was that?
It was part of my fieldwork when I was in Catania, in Sicily, and I got access to the area of the market that is actually the area in which the fishermen sell directly their daily catch, and they were not very willing to be interviewed. So when I asked, what is your job about, how does it work, they said to me, come on the boat, you're gonna see how it works. So that's what happened, and it was a little bit of a challenge because normally women are not going fishing. And so I started waking up at 2 o'clock and going fishing in the middle of the night from the harbor of Catania. And I followed all the process, so which was something that we actually miss a lot, because I was eating the fish, I was actually seeing fishing or somehow taking part in the fishing process and following it from the fishing to the market.
And what were the issues for them as fishermen?
The issues, I mean, the Mediterranean Sea is completely different from the way it was in the past because of overfishing. And they were mainly, the boat I was on was fishing sardines and anchovies, so the main local fish, and they fish it in the traditional way, which is, I mean, they don't make a lot of profit with this traditional way.
Have they got competition from bigger trawlers or anything like that?
Yeah, but not concerning sardines and anchovies, more concerning tuna and swordfish. Especially for tuna now, the Japanese market is the biggest one in the world, and they actually buy almost all the tuna that is caught. And there was a really interesting ethnography that is an English or an American anthropologist that did a work about Tokyo's fish market and his best store, and he was actually the one to study also the big corporation fishing techniques and the way they so following from the big trawler to the market as well. So a very similar work, similar to mine, but concerning the Japanese market.
There's a very great amount of concern worldwide, obviously, about declining fish stocks. I mean, is that a problem for the fishermen you were working with?
Yeah, mainly they complain about the fish stock that is decreasing every year, and also they have they face the problem in Catania especially of people that go fishing without license, for instance. So there are a lot of quarrels going on at the market, and which makes the market very lively, but not very pleasant for them as to work there. And then of course it's a pretty tough job, and the young generation, they don't want to do it anymore. So they try to go to school and get a different life, because the working hours are pretty tough, because you wake up every day at 2 o'clock and you finish at the market around 3 or 4 in the afternoon. So it's quite a long day.
Sure.
And also you are in direct contact with nature, which also means rain, cold, and whatever it is. So
is there a generational thing, where their sons and grandsons don't want to do it?
Yeah, it is. And mainly the young generation that is doing it, they feel also a little bit ashamed, because there is a lot of social prejudice about the role of the fishermen. So they complain about going out, and girls that they don't like the smell when they go back home, or things like this. So they actually have to face this prejudice also of fishermen being kind of rough, and also there was something that was happening to me that people were trying to warn me a lot, so to scare me also. So like people in Catania were saying, don't go fishing with them, fishermen are dangerous people. So there are a lot of stereotypes, and actually I think you are also seeing, you saw some of the pictures and you get the impression of the atmosphere that was on the boat. It was really kind of light and happy, and I didn't feel any danger being in the sea with them. So maybe all day also this myth of the fisherman, a little bit Hemingway style or Melville, is something that we have to leave at our back, because now it's very different. I mean, it's a quite contemporary job. I mean, they do it with all the technical device that they need, so radars and GPS, and so I mean, also Sicilian fishermen, they are not like they're struggling against.
Well, it would be ridiculous if we were kind of romantic about things, which we would not dream of doing ourselves. I mean,
actually, there is a lot of romantic discourse going on about fishing communities, and something that you see sometimes also in documentaries, or a little bit as for farmers. So there is this kind of discourse going on, something that we are losing. So there is a kind of nostalgia in our way of looking at them.
But I mean, there's also the danger that we lose too much. I mean, the market we have across the road here, the Ridley Road market, which I've mentioned before, it's also a fish market.
Yeah.
And it's a major difference for my life, the fact that I can go and shop there, you know, as opposed to the cellophane packages and the limited supply of the supermarkets. It really is. I'm going to actually go out and buy some now. After this interview, to take as a gift for a friend tomorrow. Now, what's interesting about that is that if I can't do that, then everything is very limited for us. I mean, there is much cheaper, for instance, and for lots of people, they go shopping there and they're amazed by the prices because it's bought wholesale and so forth, and these guys are specialists. And the danger is that we lose that altogether because of health and safety considerations. Things aren't cellophane wrapped and so forth, and all of that kind of thing. Have you seen that process happening?
Yeah, and also the discourse about sustainable fisheries is actually, I mean, on one hand we want to preserve the sea stock, the fish stock, but then on the other hand, the way that we are thinking now. So the way, for instance, also European Union is thinking of how to preserve this resource is actually bringing the price of the fish up. So that is actually a big challenge now, also for market administrators. And I've been visiting recently Billingsgate Market, and for instance, there you find fish that comes from all over the world, which is something that you don't get so often, for instance, in Sicily, and the way it is actually, the fish is displayed and is sold is a lot different from the way it happens in Italy, because not in Italy in general, but in Sicily, because you get a lot of information, for instance, about how it is caught and if it was defrost or if it is fresh. So all this issue about labeling the food is coming up, and it's very important, but then it's going to be something that also traditional market, as the one down the road, will have to face, because I don't think you know where your fish come from when you buy it there.
That's true, it's an act of faith.
Yes.
Which is mainly justified. Thank you very much, Brigida. That was fascinating, and
Thank you.
Let's keep our markets going. I want my son to be able to go past, as he always does every day, and say, "Dad, let's buy a fish."